The day begins where Python meat becomes precision, not mystery.
Before a single crate moves, control takes over. Inside, everything is measured: temperature, airflow, time. The supply chain starts in silence and sensors. If it can't be traced, it doesn't move. Efficiency here means calm, not speed. Standardization turns a farm into a system. Even waiting is engineered.
Quality begins long before the factory floor.
Transport isn't travel, it's preservation.
Clean in, clean out. Every step accounted for.
Nothing shifts, nothing breaks, nothing is guessed.
Data is the invisible conveyor that never stops.
Seal number is 7249er.
A single seal can protect an entire process. Every departure is rehearsed like a launch. From farm to factory, time becomes the sharpest tool. The first chapter ends when the road begins. Next, the journey becomes a machine. The road ends at a gate where timing becomes law.
Entry is granted only when every number matches. The yard is a moving puzzle, and every piece has a place.
Steel meets steel, and the chain stays unbroken.
Cold is not comfort, it's protection.
The cargo becomes inventory the moment it touches this floor.
Motion is control, because control prevents loss.
Clean transport is a promise, and the airlock enforces it.
Between outside and inside, the air itself gets filtered. Now the load enters the factory's bloodstream. Order comes before speed, every time. When the system locks the batch, the process can begin. Inspection is the factory's first line of defense.
The factory doesn't start at machines, it starts at doors.
Cross the threshold, and everything becomes procedure.
The building is a map, and conveyors are the roads. From here, the line carries the story forward. This is where raw supply becomes controlled output. The cleanest work begins with the cleanest habits. From above, you can see order moving like a river. Every room has one job, and it does it perfectly. The next step isn't processing, it's preparation. Before anything transforms, everything gets cleaned.
PPE OK. Python Meat and Lime Team.
The system checks the people as carefully as the product.
Once inside, the line never stops moving.
Water leaves, control remains. One choice at a junction shapes the entire flow.
Hands move next, guided by screens and rules. Precision isn't fancy, it's repeatable. Now the line pauses, only long enough to be certain.
When the label updates, the path becomes official.
We've entered the place where cleanliness becomes a standard. The map is simple. Execution is the masterpiece. The real work starts with the unseen details. Foam leaves, standard stay. Trust is built on checks you never see. One sample protects the entire batch. Verification happens without compromise. Sorting begins where measurement begins. Numbers don't argue, they guide. Temperature control is the quiet hero of food safety. Small corrections prevent big failures. The system decides who enters and when. Now we reach the point where preparation becomes process. The most sensitive steps happen behind closed steel. The machine finishes exactly when it says it will. When the output moves, the next phase is already waiting. One authorization unlocks an entire chain of actions. The system chooses the path in a blink. From here, the factory speaks in machines.
The core stage begins where the outside world can't interfere.
The heart of the line beats behind sealed walls.
Cooling is a controlled pause that protects texture and safety. The line climbs while the temperature stays locked. Consistency is built in the hold, quiet and exact. Flavor is never poured, it's metered. Once flow starts, the entire factory synchronizes. The safest lines are the ones that verify before they move. The moment it enters, the transformation is already underway.
When the root stays standard, the process stays stable.
This hall is where raw becomes recognizable.
Cameras don't guess, they measure. Rotation is simple. Its results are everything. Texture is engineered, repeatable and precise. The hopper is a buffer that keeps the rhythm unbroken. Uniform shapes mean uniform outcomes.
Heat is applied like math, never like guesswork.
Energy leaves the product, but structure stays. Cooling is the bridge between change and stability. Even sharp machines are safe when the rules are built in. The enclosure hides the hazard and reveals the result.
Portion control is quality control you can count.
Nothing is wasted. Everything is documented. Drying sets the finish without changing the core.
Spacing matters because machines see in patterns.
Automation begins where consistency is already proven. Machines don't rush, they repeat. Trays become units, and units become flow. Cooling time is a dial that sets safety. When the timer ends, the line moves again. Every tray re-enters the line with a digital signature. Next, the factory lets systems take the lead. In this factory, data moves as fast as product. The scan confirms what the eye can't measure. Routing is choreography, controlled by code and sensors.
Operators don't push product, they guide systems.
Safety is layered, one gate after another. The machine sees through what we can't.
Precision happens at full speed when the system is tuned.
Air is replaced by protection. Seals protect flavor, safety, and time. A seal is only real when it's verified. A printed code is a promise you can trace.
Automation doesn't replace people. It frees them to supervise.
Now the product gets its final identity. Branding is applied with the same care as processing.
A clean label is a clean signal to the world. Protection now becomes physical, box by box. Sealed cartons keep the story intact through shipping. Units become cases, cases become logistics. When checks stay green, the factory stays confident. Finishing is where speed meets perfection. Identity is locked before it leaves the building. A sealed seam is a silent guard. The label tells the next handler exactly what to do.
Palletizing is the factory's final choreography. Patterns reduce damage before it can happen.
Protection is added one layer at a time. Wrapping locks the work you've already done. Before shipping, the factory tests its own truth. A pallet without an ID is a pallet without a future. Samples are taken cleanly and tracked forever. Testing isn't suspicion. It's confidence built on proof. The lab receives the truth in a sealed container.
The label is the lab's handshake with the factory.
Machines test faster than humans, but the standards stay human. A pass signal turns waiting into motion. Release is the moment the factory breathes out. Now the product leaves the line and enters the world. The last scan is the last guarantee.
Shipping is a second factory, built from movement.
The cold chain continues without a gap.
Cold verified. Shipment approved.
The factory doesn't end at the dock. It continues on the road. Departure is controlled like every other step.
One last verification, then the world takes over.
While shipments leave, storage keeps the rhythm alive. Storage is the factory's pause button, kept cold and exact.
Inventory is control you can see.
Dispatch is a promise delivered in pallets. Outbound begins with the right pallet at the right time. The smallest mark can carry the biggest assurance.
The final phase is where preparation becomes delivery.
Correct bay, correct load, zero confusion.
The last mise of the line decide the first miles of shipping.
The paperwork is a map for everyone downstream.
Securement is the difference between shipping and damage.
Sealed, recorded, ready.
One shipment leaves, and the facility keeps its pace.
FIFO keeps freshness honest.
Storage isn't stillness, it's controlled readiness.
Dispatch is timed like a heartbeat. The board turns product into a plan. This is what modern production looks like. Quiet, organized, relentless.
The finish is always another beginning.
The final product stands ready, coated, sealed, and cold.
Storage holds the line steady until dispatch calls.
The last lift completes the factory's promise.
And this is how modern factories produce Python meat plus lime from start to finish.
Subscribe for more real factory breakdowns.